of love for you, Margaret, and for your family. I'm sure that you knew that already, but just to articulate that a lot of people getting in touch to pass on their very, very best to you and your family. And what a horrible business to contemplate and then see that the people in charge were behaving in this fashion as long ago as last May, the 15th of May 2020. Wine, spirits and pizza inside and outside the building. And Johnson's spokesman claiming that Downing Street staff were working in the garden in the afternoon and evening. And calmly now. Calmly. Is there the vaguest possibility that that's true? Okay, you can work with a glass of wine in your hand. You can work with a round of cheese on the table in front of you. There are 19 people in this picture, and there is not a single pen or computer to be seen. I think Margaret has reminded me that the stuff I do for my job sometimes gets diluted by the fact that it's my job. She's also reminded me of my friend, who we lost last December. And it's not just news, it's not just topics. And will that make the phones ring? Or what have you got to say about this today? It is literally life and death. And the idea that in the midst of the lockdown, the people tasked with running the country, following, I think, indubitably following the lead of the Prime Minister, the people tasked with running the country had a cheese and wine party. When you quite possibly would have been prevented from attending the funeral of a loved one. The bigger the family, the more likely it would be that you couldn't have attended a funeral. Certainly university friends of Margaret's son-in-law couldn't attend his funeral. And these are scars that stay forever, aren't they? That little girl, 3 years old. Not just the loss, because who knows what may have panned out differently, but the exacerbation of the loss, the magnification of the loss by the circumstances, by not being able to say goodbye, by being denied that simple human contact that may, just as the years pass, have provided some sort of succour that she has been robbed of by the virus. Then to see these people, and do you know what? I don't think they're all bad people. I think, as we're fond of saying on the programme, a fish rots from the head down. You follow, don't you, the lead. We all do. We're all a little bit deferential in our way. If the boss is behaving in a certain way, then you're more likely to behave in that way yourself. I certainly don't think they should all be strung up in the media. But it's just gross. And what I think has prompted the response on the programme today, which has taken me by surprise. It's one of those days where if you're trying to get through, you'll know every line's been chock-a-block since 10 past 10 this morning. And I sometimes get confused. This is what I mean a bit by the fact that I do it for job, for work, robbing me slightly of perspective on the life and death element of it. But I think it's the lies, isn't it? It's the lies that have resonated even more than the picture. So you've got the picture. The picture was knocking around yesterday. We've had a night to digest the picture. But it's the lies this morning. It's Dominic Raab turning up in the studios claiming that it was a work meeting. Is there any possibility at all that it could have been a work meeting if there's not a pen or a piece of paper or a laptop computer in sight? There's one way it could be proved. Publish the minutes. But the photograph I'm looking at doesn't feature anybody taking minutes. It's got Dominic Cummings drinking wine and a couple on the grass. I don't know whether they're canoodling or not, but they're certainly not discussing important matters of state. Or if they are, no one's taking notes. I think that's it. It's funny some mornings, isn't it, that we get to spend together and you sort of find yourself groping in the dark almost for what it is that we're talking about. That's partly because I'm a bit of an amateur, but also partly because the closer you get to the humanity of these moments, I think the harder sometimes it can be to grasp. And it's the knowledge, it's the memories, it's the comparisons and the contrasts between what we have done and what we have been through. And very few of us, thankfully, have been through anything like what Margaret and her daughter and her granddaughter have been through. But we've been through stuff, really bad stuff. We've lost people. And it just doesn't seem right that they would lie to us about something like this. I could have mounted a defence of the gathering, possibly, if I worked for them, just about. And then you'd have reminded me about the footage of Allegra Stratton laughing about it, nervously, to give her a bit of defence, laughing nervously, not laughing callously or contemptuously. I don't think, I don't know. But you could look, we got a bit, what's the word for when you get a bit caught up in the moment, you know, like almost demob happy. We were so stressed that every now and then, so you know, you don't know what it was like in that building. Remember that we were the ones counting the deaths and counting the casualties, and every now and then it just tipped over a little bit into socialising that obviously in retrospect we wish we hadn't done. I don't know whether you'd forgive them. I don't know whether you'd believe them. But they sent Dominic Raab out to lie to you instead. And Johnson didn't even go to a Cobra meeting yesterday. What was he doing? What was he doing? They're just nearly 2 years now. And every day demonstrates that nothing that has gone before has changed their mind or influenced their thinking in any way, shape or form. You've still got Brexit hardman Steve Baker and his regiment of the furiously hard of thinking, trying to argue that they know better than the scientists about what we should do next. So Johnson, and God forbid anyone should feel a scintilla of sympathy for the man, but he's now getting pretty clear guidance from his scientists, just like he did last December. And you remember what happened when he resisted it. 60,000 people died. And it's happening again. And I think all of these things, some mornings, just coalesce in our consciousness to create a real sense of bleakness and betrayal. Betrayal. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know where that came from.